One of the biggest edges in fantasy football is streaming defenses weekly. I understand that there are some defenses in the NFL that are going to produce week in and week out, but they are a dime a dozen. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 5 defenses that I believe you got to add prior to week number 1 because they are going to help you dominate your week 1 matchup. There are defenses like the Denver Broncos who have a great matchup in week number 1, but that is a defense that is going to be rostered in a majority of leagues. In a lot of leagues, he was taken inside of the 9th or the 10th round. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about defenses that are readily available for you guys to pick up. If you're new to the channel, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button down below. So without further ado, let's get into 5 must-add defenses to dominate week number 1 of the 2025 fantasy football season. We begin with my number 1 defense to stream on the week, the Los Angeles Rams, going up against the Houston Texans at home in LA. The Rams defense is currently rostered in 15% of leagues on Sleeper, 7.8% on NFL, and 6.4% on ESPN. So if you are on CBS, Yahoo, any other fantasy football platform, then the rostership percentages are going to be slightly different. Though I will note in some cases there could be a drastic difference from one platform to another, which we'll see as we get deeper on into these defenses to stream. So with the LA Rams, they are going up against a Texans offensive line that is widely regarded as the worst offensive line in the NFL, and they are PFF's worst graded offensive line heading into the season. The line last season was a complete and utter turnstile, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it was even worse this season. On the Rams' defensive line, they have one of the best pass rushes in the NFL, and that will be further amplified when you are going up against an offensive line that can't stop a nosebleed. There is no Mixon for the Texans, who is one of their best offensive pieces. I expect the LA Rams to be able to get home a ton on CJ Stroud and for him to make a lot of mistakes. This is also a wide receiver core that is definitely a downgrade when you compare it from entering into last season to this season. Now, maybe Christian Kirk, the slot demon, and Jaden Higgins, Nico Collins, they are better than what we assumed Tank Dell, Stephon Diggs, and Nico Collins would be if they all stayed healthy. But personally, I don't think that will end up being the case. The Texans are one of the lowest ranked teams in terms of point total in week number 1. So this is a great spot for the Rams to start things off very strong this season. The defense of the Rams and the team as a whole will be going up against the Tennessee Titans in week number 2, meaning that you could definitely start them again in that matchup. I am a big believer in Cam Ward, and I do think that Cam Ward will end up being a great quarterback at the NFL level, but in his second ever regular season NFL start up against the LA Rams, a defense that is going to hit him a ton, I think he's going to make a lot of rookie mistakes, so I definitely think the LA Rams would be startable next week as well. Next up, we move to the Arizona Cardinals at the New Orleans Saints. 49% rostered on Sleeper, 42.2% on NFL, and 46.1% on ESPN. So while they aren't available in a crazy amount of leagues like the LA Rams, you could still definitely find the Arizona Cardinals on your waiver wire. The New Orleans Saints have named Spencer Rattler as the starting quarterback for week number 1, according to head coach Kellen Moore. Just like with the Houston Texans, the Saints have one of the lowest implied point totals on the week and are 6.5 point underdogs to the Arizona Cardinals. The defense of the Cardinals should be improved this season, as they did make a bunch of additions in the draft as well as in the offseason. They brought in a guy like Josh Sweat who could end up helping them out a ton. Rattler last season had a 57% completion rate, and I don't think he enters into this season looking much improved. I know he looks like the Walmart version of Patrick Mahomes when he takes his helmet off, but he certainly doesn't play anything like Patrick Mahomes. I just don't think Spencer Rattler has what it takes to be a startable caliber quarterback in the NFL. Maybe he'll be a backup for a while, and maybe he'll end up winning a Super Bowl like Kenny Pickett behind, some great NFL team. But ultimately, Spencer Rattler doesn't have what it takes to be a starting quarterback in the NFL. And I think eventually the team's going to end up pulling the plug on him and putting Tyler Shuck into games. So if Rattler had a 57% completion rate last season, I genuinely really do not see it getting much better. And even with the Cardinals defense being more of middle of the pack in terms of defenses as a whole, I do think that streaming up against Spencer Rattler will end up being a very fruitful experience this season. Week 2, the Cardinals play up against the Panthers, and honestly, I like the Panthers a ton this season. I think they're going to build on what they did down the stretch of last season and look like that for the whole season this year, so I definitely don't want to be playing the Cardinals in that matchup. At number 3, we move to the Cincinnati Bengals going up against the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. 18% rostered on Sleeper, 72.6% on NFL, and 2.8% on ESPN. Now, in your mind, you just close your eyes real quick. There's going to be a thought exercise. You are going to envision who the most dog shit defense is in the NFL. And you close your eyes, you saw a logo. What logo was it? It was probably the Cincinnati Bengals, a defense that gets put in a body bag on a weekly basis. But this is a spot that I believe is highly exploitable this season going up against the geriatric version of Joe Flacco. They end up bringing Trey Henderson back, and they drafted Shamar Stewart. I feel like this is going to boost their pass rush abilities in a huge way, especially up against a quarterback that is no longer mobile. He's basically standing there with a cane trying to read the fucking defense, and the offensive line of the Cleveland Browns is also far from ideal. I would say they're probably one of the worst 10 offensive lines in the NFL, and you could probably make an argument all the way down to them being like a bottom 6 offensive line in the NFL. Sure, this is definitely a very big risk. I get it. This has risk written all over it. But when you go up against the Browns, it could easily be a red panty night for the Cincinnati Bengals owners. And it's going to cause a lot of people to really think the Cincinnati Bengals defense is way better than they actually are because they just steamrolled a dog shit Cleveland Browns offense. The Bengals face up against the Jaguars in week 2, and while they could be considered in that spot, to me, as of right now, I do think you should be staying away from them. Next up, we got the New York Jumbo Jets going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. 9% rostered on Sleeper, 4.2% on NFL, and 25.3% on ESPN. Before we talk about the Jets some more, though, in the final defense to stream for week number 1, I would like to give you guys a quick word for our friends, our partner over at Underdog. If you're brand new to Underdog and sign up using promo code Notorious, or by clicking on the link in the video description, you will get a free pick plus a first-time deposit offer of up to $1,000 in bonus funds, as well as if you haven't drafted yet, you will receive my draft guide to your email the day after you sign up. So make sure you guys do check that out, promo code Notorious, or by clicking on the link in the video description. I love doing the pick'ems over on Underdog. Now, the Jets playing against the Steelers in week 1 feels like something ripped out of a movie. Aaron Rodgers going back to MetLife and Fields getting his potential revenge on a team that tossed him to the side for an old man being their quarterback 1. Now, this is a defense in the Jets that did not live up to the high praise put on them before the season. There were so many talking heads bending over backwards to suck the metaphorical schlong of the Jets defense, talking about how the Jets team as a whole is going to be amazing, but obviously the team was a dumpster fire. They were so bad that Robert Saleh was the scapegoat and he got fired in the middle of the season. Now they bring in Aaron Glenn, who is a defensive-minded head coach, and the hope is that he is able to shape these guys and get the talent that is clearly there on the roster to actually show up and play to their abilities. This game has the lowest over-under on the week at 38, which has been bet down from its initial open at 41.5. This game reeks of a defensive battle. Deep down, I understand that we could end up seeing Aaron Rodgers light up this defense like a Christmas tree, but ultimately Rodgers didn't look great last year, and with this being such a low-scoring matchup, I think you have to like the Jets this week, and they are certainly significantly safer than a defense like the Bengals. Now, the Jets do go up against the Bills in week 2 at home in MetLife, and even in a home game in Gotham, I expect Josh Allen to rip them to shreds, to rip them out a new asshole. So they are clearly a cut after this game. The final defense to stream on the week is the left hands up. Who are we? The Commanders going up against the New York Football Giants at home in Washington. 69% roster on Sleeper, 21.8% on NFL, and 13% on ESPN. The Commanders are a classic example of a defense that is highly owned on one website, Sleeper, and then on ESPN, only 13% of leagues have the Commanders defense rostered. Now, the Commanders defense last season was about as trustworthy as believing the girl who cheated on her boyfriend with you is now going to be your girlfriend and she's totally not going to cheat on you at all, right? That is not going to happen. Outside of Andrew Thomas, the offensive line for the Giants is not good in the slightest, like an Anthony Fantano review. Just like how Andrew Thomas is a beast next to a bunch of fucking clowns. You ever seen that meme where it's like the dragon next to the stupid looking dragons, where the one dragon looks fearsome, right? That's Andrew Thomas next to the other offensive lineman. It's the same exact thing with the wide receiver core. Malik Neighbors is a absolute certified beast, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL already through just 1 year in the NFL. And then outside of him, it is a barren wasteland at the wide receiver position. Just like the Bengals, there is certainly some risk in starting a defense that really isn't all that good, but I do believe that the defense has the ability to play better, and streaming up against a unk version of Russell Wilson does feel right in this spot, especially in the first game of the year. The Commanders go to Green Bay to face Jordan Love and the Packers in week 2. So you want to be dropping them like it's hot, like that Snoop Dogg song after this game. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. Let me know down below in the comment section if there's some other defenses that you guys might want to add that I did not talk about in today's video. I make this video every single week. So make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you are new so you can check out all of my defenses to stream videos every single week. I love you guys all so much. I hope you all have a great rest of your guys' day. Check out one of the videos on the screen if you haven't seen them already. Hit that subscribe button down below like it owes you some money. I love you long time. Have a great one. As always, good boy.